Grab your drinks and preheat your ovens. It's time for Chuckin Muffins, baby. How you doing, Ethan?
I'm good. So first topic on the podcast, Michael Grabner got bought out today, the Arizona Coyotes. I think he was one of the only names that we didn't predict, like we went through last podcast. I don't think we picked
I wasn't ready
Grabner.
for that. Yeah.
Neither was I. I don't know what his AV was, but the buyout, they're paying him 800K for next year and 1.2 mil for the year after that. So not expensive. I'm pretty sure he's making like three and a half Grabner. So save some cap.
Yeah. Fucking dude, I can't believe the Rangers got rid of him a while ago, and now he was a 40 goal scorer for the Rangers. Now
Yeah,
he just got bought out for the Arizona Coyotes. That's
but I
so
think
crazy,
a
man.
lot of people are gonna be giving Michael Grabner a call.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
just,
He's got speed. He's got wheels.
I feel like mostly every team would want Grabner on your fourth, third line. He's a great depth player. He can play like anywhere in the
He's a
lineup.
penalty killer too.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
great penalty killer. He'll probably score you 2 to 3 shorthanded goals just based off speed alone.
Yep.
So he'll be a good pickup for any team looking for some forward depth. And speaking of the Arizona Coyotes, their captain, Oliver Ekman Larson, has been out there in the rumors lately. And so he has a no trade list and a no trade clause, rather, my bad. And the two teams he said he'd be okay to be traded to are the Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. So, what team you think's more likely to get OEL?
Honestly, I feel like Vancouver needs him more, but also Boston's losing Krug.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Assuming there's a big trade, what does Vancouver have to offer? We have to think about that.
Well, I wrote down a bunch of pieces that I can see Arizona being interested for both teams. So both Vancouver and Boston, they don't have their first round pick for this draft, like the draft coming up in like 5 days or whatever. They both have their 2021 first. So I figured those would be in play. Uh, Vancouver, they got a bunch of young pieces that I know Arizona would be interested in. They got Besser, which I figured would be a starter for the OEL trade. If not Besser, then Podkolzin, because those are two top six forwards that can
Then
make a
who?
Podkolzin.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
like ninth overall pick in the draft last
yeah.
year.
No,
Yep.
misheard you.
Yeah, they got some players that Arizona would be interested in. They got Nils Hoglander.
I was thinking Hoglander too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
Also,
now.
they got DiPietro in the net too that Arizona might be interested in. They're gonna probably move either Kemper or Ranta, so
Yeah,
they could use a young guy they play in the system for them. I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe. I mean,
But Boston, I don't really. There's not like as many good pieces for Arizona to acquire. Looking at Boston, the number one piece that I think they go for is Jake DeBrusk.
yeah,
He's been out there. I
young
feel like,
winger.
yep, he'd be a good fit in Arizona.
Plus, he's an RFA. Boston could
hmm
look to move him, maybe.
They've been trying to move him. I don't know what he's gonna want on that contract.
I don't really.
I could see five and a half over like a 5 year deal for DeBrusk. Doesn't sound, but maybe six.
Yeah, because
Uh,
like, yeah, you're right. Boston really
mhm.
have that much to
There's
offer.
they can go Carlo maybe, but like Arizona's gonna want a roster player. So
So that's where DeBrusque would come in.
DeBrusk would be the guy, or Carlo maybe. Maybe it's Carlo and Beecher, their first round pick last year. Because I was looking through Boston, they have nothing that they can like give up for him. And I
They
think
don't.
I,
Yeah.
th- if I'm looking at both, if I'm the general manager of the Canucks and the Bruins, just saying like I'm individually, if I'm Vancouver, I don't think I go after OEL. I feel like we got to resign Hughes, we got to sign Pedersen. There's just too many
Yeah.
question marks.
Yeah. Why load on
Way too
cap
many, and
now?
we already have Hughes, a number one defenseman. There's really, if I'm looking at it from Vancouver's end, there's really no reason to make this trade. But Boston, I feel like OEL would really help Boston. Like OEL's making a lot of money, but they're losing Krug. They're gonna need a new number one defenseman.
They are losing Krug.
They got
Yeah,
Chara
because
still. Chara's you can't rely on him being number one though.
he's not. He's not
43.
number
What?
one.
Yeah, exactly.
McAvoy they have.
McAvoy's not bad. I think he can be a number one, but he's not there yet. So,
He's
and
only
knowing
22,
Boston,
so
yeah, Boston's gonna want to make a run at the Cup next year because they got Berger. Whenever if you're gonna have Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak, you're going for the Cup. So,
oh yeah, without a doubt.
So they gotta either, if they look for like option free agency for defenseman, or if they go after OEL. I feel like OEL would be a good fit with Boston though. I feel like you try to make it work. If I'm Don Sweeney, I try to make that work.
Yeah, I could see that. Like DeBrusque and some other asset for OEL. Yeah, I could
Like
see that.
DeBrusk, a first, and like Vakinen maybe. Because it's probably gonna be three pieces, I think. A draft pick, a roster player, and a prospect. I don't know. Do you think it's OEL, like just OEL going over, or do you think Arizona throws in something else?
Um,
What if they
I mean,
pack? Hold up. What if did this? I might be reaching here completely, but what if we look at Vancouver? If Vancouver loses Markstrom, they could, in theory, look at getting another goalie. What if Arizona packages OEL and Darcy Kemper in a trade together to Vancouver? I don't think it makes much sense, but
that's not
like,
that's not that much of a reach because they might want to do like a 1-2 combo
mhm.
maybe. But
It's definitely pushing it though,
yeah, a
because
little
that's gonna
bit.
be a haul. Like you're paying, I'd say maybe at least one first, a roster player, and like two prospects, maybe three, or that's maybe two firsts. Like that's a big trade.
If you want Oliver Ekman Larson, you better fucking cough
It's
up a
gonna
lung.
it's gonna be three pieces for OEL. First roster player and a prospect.
Yeah,
That's what it has to be. If it's not even that, I'm hanging up the phone. If I'm Arizona's GM, I don't even know his name and forget
I
it.
think I think he'll go to Boston's more likely.
I also heard Edmonton was looking at him with Clefbaum going down, of how like his futures for on next season's unsure with his shoulder injury that he got. Like he might not even play next season.
Who,
Like,
Clefbaum?
yeah, he might not even play at all next season.
Then why would Arizona? Oh, I got you. Mean okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm saying they might go after, like they've been in talks, but we don't know if wants to go there. If OEL doesn't want to go to Edmonton, that's the end of it.
Then he's not going to Edmonton. Yeah,
Exactly, the end of that.
I wanted to
So
see him succeed after being fucking
in Arizona for so many
for so
years.
long. He was always such a like good defenseman and like
He's an underrated
his
defenseman. He's good for like I'd say 40 points a year. He plays good defensively.
yeah, and
He's
his
just
career just
solid.
kind of burned there.
He's a good
So
leader.
now,
Yeah, he's just
yeah, I want to see him succeed somewhere else.
yep. I agree. Great defender. He can make a really good impact on a team like Boston. He can even be up with a Norris conversation. Plays on
That's not
Boston.
out of the question. No, that's definitely not out of the question.
Because he like in Arizona, he's got nothing to work with. If you're playing on the power play with Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, and whoever else, Krejci, that's pretty good. I mean, he wasn't getting that opportunity with Arizona. I can tell you that for a
Absolutely
fact.
not. No,
Nope.
yeah, yeah, nothing there, and
Yeah,
they're about to be back to square one.
yeah, exactly. They're blowing the team up again. So I don't know. We'll see what happens at Arizona. They got to shed salary, so they'll be making a lot of moves. And speaking of shedding salary, the Minnesota Wild, they're looking to offload their starting goalie, Devin Dubnyk.
To where
And
again?
to the San Jose Sharks is where. Personally, I can get behind it. I can. It just depends on the price. So, I honestly, I don't know what the price is for Dubnik. Minnesota, someone came out saying that Minnesota's looking for a first. I
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think Doug Wilson's given them a first. Okay, so for this year's draft, we have one first round pick, which is the 31st. And we have two high second round picks. I don't know exactly what overall they are, but I think they're in the 30s. So maybe one of those picks goes, but this is such a deep draft. And Doug Wilson actually came out saying that he didn't want to move any picks from this year's draft.
There's no
And
reason to.
exactly. And just based off what happened with Eric Carlson, I don't think we move next year's first for Devin Dubnyk. Don't see it happening. Just throwing that out there. So I don't know where they're getting the first
Did you
from.
guys lose the third or the fifth pick this year?
Third. Sorry.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, we could have had Stutzel, but what are you gonna do? It's all right. We got Eric Carlson. But realistically, Dubnyk to San Jose is a real possibility. It's been out there lately. The rumors are picking up based on like yesterday's reports. Uh, and the deal is it's supposed to be a package deal. Donato and Dubnyk to San Jose for I don't know, unknown. Nothing's really came out on that part. What do you think the chances that trade goes down?
I don't know because what do the Sharks have to offer for Dubnik and Donato?
The thing.
Because
Okay, continue. My fault.
because Dubnik's value isn't like that high.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know
Because
what Dubnik and Donato's value is. Because
like
like I don't.
Donato's is definitely higher. Don't get me
I
wrong.
I guess it's higher. Because I don't know what the Sharks view Donato as, and I don't know what the Wild view Donato as. I don't really
I'm
know. I don't know.
I'm looking at the Sharks like roster. I sincerely don't know what the fuck you can give up.
What we'd give up probably one of our fringe young players that are like on the cusps of making the NHL, like a Bergman, someone like that, and maybe a draft pick. Like I don't know what we give up for Dubnik. I don't know what Dubnik's value is. Maybe a second. I'd guess I'd be okay with the second if we get Donato and Dubnik. I don't know, man. But just based on Dubnik's stats last season, I don't know. Uh,
Don't
but
want him.
but
I wouldn't want him.
the thing is, I want to make a case for Dubnik for a sec. So so if you look at Dubnik's stats, besides last season, he was phenomenal. He has very good stats. He has like nothing below a 913 with the Wild, playing like 60 games a year. Like that's phenomenal. But this year, something went on with his wife's health. I don't know if you heard about this, but something went on there where like something wasn't right. Like I'm not going to get into because I really don't know, but that I'm guessing affected his play, and I guess it makes sense. His stats just dropped out of nowhere. I mean, age is I guess a question, but I'd maybe put it off to that. So, and also, it came out that Doug Wilson didn't want the trade. He doesn't want to make the trade yet, just based on he wants to talk to Dubnik to see if he's comfortable with coming here, just based on everything that's going on with like his personal life right now. So,
Right? Yeah. Well,
which
yeah.
which
Because then
makes
if he's
sense.
not exactly, if he's
Exactly,
not
makes
ready, then like
sense.
why would you trade that for that?
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see what happens when that trade can go down. Next couple of days, we'll see. And sticking with goalies, a bunch of goalies just got signed today, yesterday, whenever this comes out. First one, this got announced I'd say honestly a month ago at this point. Leonard signs his 5/5 deal that they reportedly was a handshake agreement. I think it's a great contract for Leonard, honestly.
Dude, fucking so many Vegas fans are like pissed about it. I don't know
I don't
why. Like,
see why.
he had
I really
one
don't see why.
shaky year. Robin Leonard's a fantastic goalie.
He's been
You know,
fantastic.
they're mad because Fleury just kind of just got flipped off
I
by the
I
organization.
you like in that situation, you got to feel for Fleury, I guess. Like the same thing happened in Pittsburgh. He got
Yeah,
he lost the number one job,
they're like fuck
went
you,
to
Fleury.
Vegas, like, all right, I'm gonna finish my career here, and
Yeah,
then they bring in another guy, just takes the job away from him. I don't know. What do you think they do with Fleury? Do you think they keep him around? Do you think? I think they move him or buy him out because if I'm Vegas,
I would
can't have
vote one of the two.
I can't have my backup goalie making $7 million a year.
I'm not sure what, but they need to do something with Fleury.
I think a team would pick up Fleury with salary retained because I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think
they wouldn't. They wouldn't take
no
that
one picks
7
him up
mil.
unless maybe like a team like Detroit, maybe a team like because
I can't afford him. Yeah,
Stevie Y they've came out they want a starting goalie, and I Fleury wouldn't be bad in Detroit. I don't think. I feel like that's a
well, Fleury
potential
wouldn't be bad
fit.
anywhere. He's good. It's
Exactly.
just a matter of his
Fleury's
team
a
being
great
bad.
like I think right now in his career, Fleury's a great 1A, 1B guy. He'll play 40, maybe 50, but even like 30. Like something like that. I don't know. I think he's definitely still an NHL goalie. He's definitely still capable. He can make an impact. I think he'd be a fit in Detroit. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, pretty much any team that needs a starter goalie.
basically, yeah. Maybe a
He
team
can
like
go there.
Calgary will look at him. Even like Ottawa. Maybe a team like Ottawa looks at him. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, Christian Jari got signed 3.5 over 3 years. So that basically means Matt Murray's out, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any scenario where Matt Murray stays, considering one, he's an RFA, and two, Yari just looks better.
He
Like
does. And he's probably cheaper
he is
than what Murray is
cheaper.
going to go
Yeah,
after.
Murray's gonna be like, oh yeah, but I won
Two
like
Stanley
2 Stanley
Cups.
Cups.
And he's right.
But Matt, it was a few years ago. I don't care. I still won them.
And he's going to win the argument too. Like
He will win the argument. Well, his agent will, but yeah.
yeah. What do you think where do you think Matt Murray can end up next season? What do you think happens?
He's gonna get traded to a team that either wants a goaltending change or just needs a starting goalie, like straight up.
I can see maybe a team that goes after Holtby or Markstrom and doesn't get him. Maybe a team like that, they'll circle back on Murray as like a second,
Yeah,
third option. Because like if
yeah,
I'm looking in free agency, I'd rather have Markstrom, Holtby, all those guys for free rather than paying probably a first for Matt Murray. So
exactly. Yeah, it's
so you
like
look at those first, and if you strike out, maybe a team like Carolina, they look at it like we couldn't get Holtby, we couldn't get Markstrom. Maybe
so I
they
guess we
trade
gotta
Reimer
settle.
and a package. Maybe they move out one of their goalies. Yeah,
Yeah,
see what happens. It's gonna be crazy the goalie market this year, and we'll get into it in a couple minutes. Also, two more little minor sightings. Brian Elliott is gonna stay in Philly for one more year, and same with Brossoit. Gonna stay in Winnipeg for another year. Both at 1.5 a year. So good cheap signings for them. I like the Elliott signing. I feel like that's good for Philly.
yeah. Just because Carter Hart's so young, then he gets to stay with the
You'll have a
mentor.
veteran backup to help mentor him. And Brossoit, I thought they'd look somewhere else in free agency for Winnipeg. He just didn't like. You look at Hellebuck and Brossoit's stats; they were just so drastically different.
Yeah,
It was like how did this guy do so good and this guy did so bad? Like I thought they'd look different, so maybe they're buying on a bounce back year from Brossoit. So we'll see. And all right, so we're gonna get into the goalies now. So 2 podcasts ago, we looked at every goalie tandem in the Eastern Conference and kind of predicted like what would happen if they'd keep the tandem, if they'd change it, or basically like that. So we're gonna do that for the East now. All right, so let's jump into Chicago Blackhawks first. I'm actually gonna bring this up on screen here. All right, so you should all be able to see the Blackhawks roster, and let's go over to goalies. Uh, hmm. So they got Crawford and Subban as they're unsigned for next season, so they need contracts. Personally, I think they roll something similar to what they have now. Crawford the starter and Subban or Colin Delia as the backup. I don't see anything change there.
I mean, I would change it, but I just don't really see it happening. Just
I
because
don't think they
like
will.
Bowman isn't really like.
Good.
I was gonna say he's not a very good move maker.
No,
But yeah,
he's not.
he hasn't really impressed me in terms of how he's managing that team lately. So he probably will just keep Crawford, who
Yeah.
let's face it, he's not Crawford anymore. He's just ugh, he's
He's he's
whatever now.
he's old. He's 35. He's still a capable goalie. He's just not what he once was.
Yeah. And Subban, he's a fine backup, I guess.
Yeah.
He definitely can start, but if you need him, he could be a backbone. Yeah, I think he could be a backup. So
If I'm Chicago, maybe I look at bringing in a guy like Grice. Just split
yeah, but
starts with Crawford, maybe.
that's assuming they don't have Subban, because then that's a waste
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
have all three of them. But
Maybe. Yeah. No. They'd have to get rid of one of them. You can't roll 4 goalies. You can't. Yeah. You can't even roll 3 goalies, honestly.
yeah,
So. Yeah. I'd say odds are they probably keep it the same next season for Chicago.
yeah, probably.
All right. Colorado Avalanche. Uh. So the Avs, they got Grubauer locked up, and they got Francouz locked up. Uh. Hmm. You, if I'm the Avs, man, it's tough because Grubauer, he's gotten hurt. Like he got hurt like twice last season. He got hurt in the regular season. He got hurt in the playoffs. So I don't know if the Avs feel confident sticking with Grubauer just based on his injury history. Maybe they give him another year, but if he gets hurt next year or falters, I think they'd look at another option in that.
Well, Francouz can't be the starter.
No,
Let's realistically, no, he can't.
Grubauer's a
Hutchins,
starter.
Hutchinson in the
He's going to
playoffs, but
UFA.
I don't see him one being on the team anymore. I don't see him being a starting goalie for a whole season. But
He can't even be a backup.
yeah, Grubauer is starting caliber goalie, like you said. Though they might be like the fuck with the injuries and
Mm-hmm.
everything. They might try and find a more capable backup, such as like Thomas Grice per se. Because if Grubauer gets injured, then I would 100% roll Grice as a starter.
Yeah, because I feel like if Grubauer goes down, you can't like look to Francouz and be like, all right, like you're our number one guy. Like I just feel like
Yeah,
he can't
or
be that.
um, or I'm not going to name names, but some veteran goaltender who probably just recently left his team, who deserves to win a Stanley Cup, could go to a team such as Colorado, because Colorado is a favorite to win the cup this year.
He'd be a great fit on that team. Uh,
Yeah, I was talking about Henrik Lundqvist, by the way, in case
I knew
anyone didn't know.
exactly who you're talking about. All right, so it's Colorado Avalanche. Let's move on to the Western Conference champs, Dallas Stars. So they had Bishop, their usual starting goalie, was unfit to play the entire postseason, basically. So they rolled 34-year-old journeyman Anton Khudobin, and boy, did he impress.
Dobby
Damn,
looked incredible.
what does a contract look like for Anton Khudobin after what he just did?
He's probably gonna say he's like, wow, yeah, you're right, because like he might just ride the coattails of like, oh, I had good playoff.
He did,
I get good money
but
now.
like, are the Stars gonna look and be like, are they ready to pay a 34-year-old goalie? Like,
Yeah,
what'd you say,
and
like
for how long and for
4?
how much?
I
Yeah, I'd
think
probably give him 4 mil. That's nearly 9 mil for your entire goalie
yeah.
core.
And Dallas, they have 15 mil of space, but they got to sign Faxa, they got to sign Yanmark, they got to sign Gurianov. Like
Hence,
they
they got
yeah, and
hints.
Hints too. Yeah, I didn't see Hints. They got guys up that's gonna take up most of that cap. So
I don't really see it happening. I think he's probably not gonna
I
stay in the
don't.
Stars, which sucks.
That does suck. Where does he go? Is you know what? You know what? I'm kind of like the vibe I'm getting off of Dobin. Remember how Carter Hutton had that run with the Blues a couple years ago,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
went to Buffalo, signed a nice contract, and then just died basically.
Yeah.
That I feel like that might what happened to Hadobin if he leaves the Stars.
Again, but like, where does he go?
I don't know. Like he's 34. He's not the long-term future anywhere. Maybe the Avs look at a guy like Hadobin, split stars with Grubauer, maybe to
They
get rid of
could.
Francouz. I don't like they got cap space, bring him in on a 1-year deal. Certainly wouldn't hurt, but
Honestly, you know what could happen?
Hmm.
If they don't get Markstrom, Holtby, Murray, fucking Carolina could go after Kudobin.
yeah, maybe they can roll like Mrazek Hadobin. Maybe
Yeah, I
I'd
could
say
see
that's an
that happening.
improvement on Reimer Mrazek.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just
It's
because the
tough.
Western Championship was won pretty much just because Kudobin was just
Yeah, basically,
unreal.
he's
So
unreal. If I'm Dallas, I think you gotta keep him. Just
but
based off how important the backup goalie position is now. I feel like you might have to pay. If I'm Dallas, I'd give him 3.5. I feel like you got to make it work.
if they could afford that, yeah. But if not, then you got to walk away, which sucks.
I mean, they could get rid of like a Cogliano maybe to free up space. He's making 3.25. He's not really worth. He's got a no trade clause though, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with Dallas. If I were to make a prediction, I'd say they figure out a way to keep Adoba though. If I'm being honest. All right, Minnesota Wild. Talked about them before. Their Dubnik's gone. He's not staying.
No, yeah, because like he's on his way out regardless, whether he's being traded or what, because they're not signing him if he stays on that team another year, but I don't think he does. Stalock is probably going to stay there until his contract ends, I assume, as a
Stalock
backup.
had a great season. He's on a very cheap deal, $785K. He played decent. He played better than Dubnik, so.
I mean, I already know who I got starting for Minnesota this year, but
Who?
Yaroslav Askarov.
All right, we'll touch on that a
Yeah,
little later, but interesting. We'll see.
I'll explain later. So you have to keep watching the podcast now.
There you go. That's how you get them.
Hell yeah! All
All right, St. Louis Blues. I'd say odds are they roll Bennington and Ville Husso. I don't think.
I don't see them walking away from Bennington because obviously, like, hear me out. I think Bennington's going to be the next Matt Murray. Like, he had that one cup run, and now I think he's just going to be average at best.
Just Bennington, like, he's so cocky too. Like, he's like just his personality and everything. He just. I personally like him, but I see why other people don't.
I fuck with it just because, like,
So
I remember
I like it.
he got interviewed like after like just starting a few games, and he was on
Do
a
I look
roll.
nervous?
Do I look nervous? And he just fucking looks at the guy, and I was like, all right, I respect it. That's alpha energy.
Dude, he's a personality. You want that.
Yeah.
You don't want a bland, boring guy. You'd rather have a guy on your team like Bennington. So I see
Yeah,
how
and
it
then
works.
yeah, Huso's probably going to stay as a backup as well, just because he's on a nice. He's all the way got up till 2023 under
I'm
contract.
looking at
So
Huso's stats. Huso's never even played in the NHL.
really,
Yeah, he's never played in the NHL. He had a
wait,
909 in the AHL last season.
who is Bennington's backup this year?
Uh,
Why am I
am I
blanking
drawing?
on that?
Well, I'm drawing a blank too. What? Uh,
Excuse me? That's got to be a mistake. It was that or Fitzpatrick, but I doubt it.
that's not true at all. Fitzpatrick's like 20.
He's 22, yeah.
What? Hold up. No, hold on. Oh, it's Jake Allen. Oh my God.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Okay.
That's why I'm drawing a blank.
We're moving on. Winnipeg
Okay.
Jets.
I'm embarrassed.
Dude, I started typing it in. I'm just like, motherfucker. My God,
they traded the backup. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be Bennington and Huso.
All right, Winnipeg
Jets.
Yep, they're going.
Obviously,
Yep, they already.
it's set. They already just locked up Brossoit for another year.
And Hellebuck's not going.
Vezina winner Hellebuck. Why in God's name would he not be the starter this year and for years and years to come? So yeah, that's moving on. That's an easy one.
Yep. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the Central Division. And let's start it off with the Anaheim Ducks. So they got Gibson locked up for another 7 years, so he's good. I think it already came out. Ryan Miller's not going to come back. I'm pretty sure that came out.
Pretty sure, yeah. I saw that somewhere.
So they're going to need a backup goalie. So with Gibson, I think they don't have to go and get a guy like Grice, Hudobin. They can get a guy on the cheaper end maybe. So they roll Gibson and find a cheap backup.
Here's here's my problem with John Gibson. And it's the fact he's so good and he's locked up in Anaheim for so long. Like seriously, like I think John Gibson could be a Vezina finalist and potentially winner if he were on a better team.
If Anaheim gets some players, and they need to help him. They have players. They have a bunch of young guys.
No, Gibson's genuinely really good.
And he's young too. He's 27. He's in the prime.
Yeah. I watch him play. He's genuinely a great goaltender. Ryan Miller's out, so like you said, yeah, they gotta get a cheap backup. I don't know where from. Maybe
they have no cap space. What?
They don't. Yeah, they have nothing, so they can't really.
Maybe because they're paying Corey Perry $6.6 million to not play on the team. So that's part of the reason.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could probably contribute to that a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so that's Anaheim, and let's move on to the Coyotes. We touched on them a little before. I feel like you gotta move one of the two. You can't keep them, I don't think.
Yeah, but who moves out of those two? I really don't know.
If I'm the Coyotes, I want Kemper.
You want to keep Kemper, you mean?
Yep.
I think so too. I mean,
he's the better goalie. And Ranta's injury prone also. He gets hurt a lot. You can't rely on Ranta. And Kemper was phenomenal.
Kemper was phenomenal. Unbelievable year.
So good. Even in the postseason, that team looked like they had no life and played great in the first round.
Kemper was the huge.
He was unreal.
Back support, yeah.
He shut out the Avs, I'm pretty sure.
What did he do as a backup, though?
Do they have anything in the system? Zane Hill. Yeah, they'll probably use Zane Hill. He came in, I think, 2 years ago. He played okay. Maybe even last season. I don't remember. It feels like so long ago.
So you think they just stay with Kemper, move Ronta, try and get an asset or something for him?
Yeah, or they just roll Hill if he's ready.
And then roll Hill's the backup. Yep. Okay.
Because they got a clear cap. Arizona's they're not spending.
Yeah, they don't want to bring anyone in.
Yeah, so if I were to put money on it, that's what I would say to happen. Calgary Flames. So they're looking big in free agency. Rumor has it.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Calgary is probably going to be like one of the big teams that make a splash in free agency, like in general this year.
Well, they have Talbot. He's a UFA. I don't think they bring Talbot back. Yeah. He said he'd like to stay in Calgary, but I just feel like Calgary, they need an upgrade. Like they got to switch something up there. I
I don't see Riddick starting either.
like Riddick's not bad, but I think if they went after a guy like Holpe, I feel like Holpe would be a pretty decent fit there. Markstrom, he'd be a good fit. Matt Murray, even a guy like Fleury, even
Murray,
Lundqvist.
yeah.
Even if Lundqvist would come in here, wouldn't even be bad. Split games with David Riddick. That's not
I
that
mean,
bad.
yeah, it could be worse. I mean,
It could be worse. Going to Buffalo.
the rest of the team's like a Stanley Cup caliber team, like realistically. I mean, maybe the defense could
If they
use a
don't,
bit of
as
help.
long as they don't make a stupid move and trade Johnny Gaudreau. So
Yeah, that's been a rumor for like a while, and it's starting to freak me out as how much I keep seeing it everywhere.
I don't know. I get why like he's not producing in the postseason, but like he's not even that young anymore. He's 27.
Yeah,
Just, I thought he was younger, but I don't know. I mean, they could move him. I just think they would lose the trade. Like you're not going to get value that Johnny Gaudreau is.
yeah, if you're moving Johnny Gaudreau, you need to get a
A haul.
fucking haul. Yeah, you need to get a lot.
All right, so moving on from Calgary. Edmonton Oilers. So they got Koskinen locked up for 2 more years. Mike Smith's a UFA. I don't see Mike Smith returning.
I don't even see him playing anymore. I think he's done.
No, I think he could still be a backup somewhere. I'm pretty sure he played okay last season, so he could be a backup somewhere. But on who Edmonton would bring in, I feel like they bring in a guy like similar to Koskinen, a 1A, 1B, maybe a Grice, a
A
Hudobin,
Grice person, yeah.
someone
So
like that.
here's what I like dislike about that speculation is because like you don't know what was it for Colorado? We said like they can bring in a guy like Grice, but Edmonton could also bring in a guy like Grice.
A
Like
lot of teams could use a guy like Thomas
yeah,
Grice.
there's no saying who it's gonna be. They just need someone who's completely capable of being the 1B 1A.
They need a guy that's going to play 40 games for them. That's what Edmonton needs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because Koskinen could give you 40 games. So we'll see what they do there. Los Angeles Kings. So they still got Johnny Quick. I don't see anyone taking that contract. So
God,
I
no,
think he's
no
staying
one
in
would.
LA. Unless they buy him out, then he's not going anywhere. And Cal Peterson's on a solid little deal in the 2 years. So I think they roll Peterson and Quick.
I
Not
think
really.
it's the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I don't see it changing at all.
Quick's not really by choice, but there's not really much they can do there. So
And Cal Peterson, he looked
he was pretty good.
whatever for what the team would give him. Yeah, he looked
He played
fine.
pretty good.
So yeah, quick
Yep.
Peterson is what's gonna happen.
All right. San Jose Sharks are next. We touched on them before too. So they got Jones locked up for another 4 years. Dell's a UFA. Yeah, I know. Dell's a UFA. Dell played good in San Jose, but the thing is, we just need to switch it up. If we had the choice between Jones and Dell, I'm sure they would choose Dell, but you don't have the choice, so Dell has to go.
No one's gonna take Jones.
I feel like Dell could be a guy that might get like even like Dell at Edmonton. I don't think that'd be that bad
No, it wouldn't.
because Dell can play 30 to 40 games and be solid. So he'd be all right there. But based on who San Jose brings in, once again, it'll be a guy like Thomas Grice, or if these Dubnik rumors are true, looks like a Jones Devin Dubnik tandem for next
That's what
season.
I see is gonna happen.
That's what I see is going to happen too. I can get behind it. I could. It's not ideal, but Wilson's trying. That's all you can ask for. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Vancouver Canucks. So they got one of the big UFAs for this season. They got Markstrom. I don't know. I'd say it's 50-50. He stays or leaves now, honestly.
Yeah, it's really a toss up at this point. Like, because he's a phenomenal goalie, but like we don't
The
know.
expansion draft.
Can Demko
That's what
start?
it is.
The expansion coming up.
Demko played great in his 3 little game sample size in the postseason, but we don't know if Demko can do it over a full season.
Exactly,
And that's what I think Vancouver's afraid of.
right.
Honestly, what if they? Okay, so the real question mark with Vancouver is next season when they got to sign Pettersson and Hughes. What if they sign Markstrom to like a 1 to 2 year deal, and just kind of expect Seattle to take him, and if they don't, you just reflip him for, or not reflip him, you flip him in general. Flip him for like, you can get a decent haul for Markstrom. So flip him, and then you have money to sign Pedersen and Hughes, and you have a goalie for next season. So if I'm Jim Benning, that's what I look to do. Like, it can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they use that money somewhere else on Toffoli, maybe. Oh, they got 15 mil. How much do you think Mark should give an X for?
Well, it depends how long, if he wants to stay. Well, if it's Vancouver, a short term.
I'd say short term.
Short. He's probably gonna get like
Maybe
4
he
or
doesn't.
5 something.
Maybe Markstrom doesn't want a short term deal. Maybe Markstrom wants a long term deal.
Yeah, but Vancouver wouldn't do that.
And that looks like he's not coming back to Vancouver.
I still think Markstrom to Carolina is happening.
I can see that happening. I think he'd be a great fit.
Who they're gonna run with Demko, I'm not really sure, but
once again, it's just one of those guys that can play 40 games a season. Like Grice, I keep throwing his name out there for like every team, but Grice, Hudobin, Adele, like someone like that can play 40 games for them. So that's what I think Vancouver does. Let's move on to the last team, the Vegas Golden Knights. So we talked about it before. They just locked up Leonard, so he's their starter. But they have Marc-Andre Fleury. Like I said before, I think Fleury's got to go.
I think he's got to get bought out, to be honest.
That's an expensive buyout. That's the thing. That's a really expensive buyout.
Cap penalty. They don't even have the money to pay that.
No, they don't. And they're trying to get Pietrangelo. I don't
see that happening. I really don't.
I don't know.
They could try and trade Fleury somewhere that needs him and not expect that big of a haul.
They have money. They can move out Vegas. They do. They can move out Fleury. But I don't think a team takes Fleury at 7. Unless it's like Detroit, like I said before. I think you got to retain.
Like a team that could really afford him.
Like Detroit.
That'd be crazy to see, like Fleury in Detroit, imagine.
Oh, my God, imagine. Remember that save he made against Detroit in 2009?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, yeah.
Wow. All right, so, yeah, that's the whole goalie thing. Wrap up with that. And for the final little thing in podcast, let's do a little mock draft. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go pick by pick?
Yeah, we'll go pick by pick. You share your screen, and I'll tell you what I have at that pick.
All right, so bring this back up here. Bring this up.
Yeah, we're going the top 15 for the
Well, you see my top 4, so. All right. So do we even have to give number 1 an introduction?
Actually, yes.
I think the Rangers, yeah. So Jamie Drysdale is going to New York. No, we know it's gonna happen. No, Alexis Lafreniere is going first overall. Game changer, great, just superstar potential. It's gonna be a superstar in the league. It's just you can't not take him.
I can't wait for the Rangers to fuck it up and actually take, like, unironically take Jamie Drysdale.
You want to hear something?
Like,
Hold on. You want to hear something?
Yeah.
The likelihood of this happening is, I'd say, under 1%. But you know how the Rangers have? This is completely like, you know how the Rangers have been rumored to be in on Eichel.
You said they're not trading first overall for Eichel.
If Eichel would even be considered, I think you have to go. It'd have to be for the first overall pick.
I don't care. Don't do that. Take Lafreniere and run.
No, I'm saying do not do that. Do not do it, because you're gonna have to give up more on top of that. So, yep, Lafreniere to New York. It's already confirmed. So, as well as the number 2 picks, I'd say pretty well known. I'd say it's a toss between 2 guys. I think. I think Byfield's going number 2.
I also think Byfield.
They got Turcotte, and they draft Byfield. That's a really good 1-2 center punch.
Yeah.
And you would have, just think, like in 5-6 years, you'll have Byfield, Turcotte, and you'll have Kopitar, your 3rd-line center. That's nuts. That's good.
Nuts.
I'm a Sharks fan, and I'm saying that's nuts. So I think Byfield's a staple at number 2.
Yeah, just because, like, LA needs help in everything, and
Yeah.
Byfield's the like the most talented players outside number one overall.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Byfield's the way to
Yep.
go.
Byfield's the easy choice. Number three, I think is still, I think if Byfield goes number two, Stutzel's gonna go three. Personally, Ottawa, they need help up front. Ottawa needs help anywhere, to be fair. So
Here's what I put, and I want you to hear me out because I genuinely think
mhm.
the reasoning is pretty good. Um, I put that they put Jamie Drysdale third overall
Okay.
because if you think about it this way, this draft class is so deep in with forwards
Hmm.
and so shallow with defensemen that taking the best defenseman, like because he's projected to be top five regardless.
Hmm.
So I think you should take him with your third overall pick, so you get the best defenseman available. Detroit can have Stutzel, and then you go after someone else like Rossi or Raymond. Well, I put Rossi, but I think that they go Drysdale third, and then let Detroit do whatever, and then take the next best forward available because then you get the best defenseman you can, and you also get a talented forward in a super super deep forward class.
I like your logic, but this is where I'm going to disagree. So Ottawa, so they got Shabbat and they got Brandstrom. I'd say Brandstrom and Drysdale. Drysdale might have a higher ceiling, but they're comparable players. They're both offensive defensemen. I feel like Ottawa, they don't have that stud up front. And you can argue Brady Kachuk, but he's got nothing up there. If you add Stutzel to that, I don't know. I feel like you just can't pass up on that talent.
Okay, I could see why you'd think that,
And I'm
and
pretty sure.
I
Yep. You
I think
continue. My
both are
bad.
possible.
Yep.
I think both are a possibility.
Hmm. All right. I'm pretty sure I'll pick flip flop here. So I Drysdale four. Uh,
For then I have Stutzel,
Yep.
assuming Drysdale goes third overall.
Yeah, I just had it. I just think Ottawa, they can't. I just feel like they can't pass on him. But if I'm Detroit and he's there, thank you, Pierre Dorian. All right, so number five, you already said your pick. You went Rossi, you said?
Yes, sir.
I went Raymond. So I have Ottawa picking up Stutzel and Raymond in the draft. That's pretty, like, even Rossi, Drysdale and Rossi, they're still like they're
Yeah,
cleaning up. Like they're getting two really good pieces here. And I think Raymond's got like really good potential.
no, he's got a high ceiling. Definitely, yeah.
I like him. He's got like, from what I've heard, he's got like game changing fucking potential. So we'll see what happens with him. Number six. Who do you have going six?
I have Lucas Raymond because I think just based on the past five picks, I think Anaheim takes whatever the hell they can get because their team is it's a wreck. So I
Yeah.
think Raymond being the next best talent that you can possibly take, I think Raymond is who they go for,
Yep.
and they get help on the wing.
I got Rossi going five. It's just flip flop. I think
I mean six.
oh yep, I'm in six, sorry. The way same thing with LA. They got Zegras, they had Rossi, and then they'll have Getzlav. So 5 years down the line, or maybe not actually not with Getzlav. Getzlav's probably gone by then, but still, a
Yeah,
Rossi,
no, he's
Zegras, 1-2 center punch, that's not bad. I like that. So moving on, number seven. Who you got going seven?
just based on the fact that Subban has been so underperforming with New Jersey and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they have like essentially no defense at all. I think they take Jake Sanderson seventh overall.
Ooh, that was really close. That it was between him and Cole Perfetti, who I actually took. You know, the thing about New Jersey, they got Hischier, they got Hughes, like they have centermen, but I just feel like his hockey IQ, just Cole Perfetti is an amazing playmaker. He sees the ice so well. I just feel like New Jersey can't pass that offensive talent up because he'd be a great piece to put along a Hischier or a Hughes.
Right.
All right, and Buffalo picking at eight. Who you got going to Buffalo?
I took Alexander Holtz for Buffalo.
Hmm. All right, I had Sanderson. So
But let me tell you why I think Holtz.
all right,
Because Jack Eichel needs so much help right now.
he does.
Like the entire team, not just forwards, defense too. But again, it's a very shallow defensive class. So I think Holtz is the way to go just because on the wing, eventually, if he develops and becomes what Eichel needs, then
He's
Eichel
a
might
great
not
scorer.
say, "Wow, I hate it here." Like,
The way I looked at it as they already got like two goal scorers there. They got Olofsson and they have Jeff Skinner. He better bounce back. So
for real,
making
yeah,
nine
with
and a
that
half year.
contract.
Oh my God. Dude, if he doesn't live up to like what he did 2 years ago, Buffalo was fucked. Like, dude, they're screwed. Oh my, like a guy, they're paying 9.5 to a guy that was barely a top six forward for them last year. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I had Sanderson going to Buffalo just based on that defense. Like besides like Dahlin, like,
Yeah, and if
what else?
Risto's
What
gone,
he's
yeah.
probably gone. He's been in trade rumors his whole career, so I wouldn't count on that. So I had Sanderson going at 8. And who'd you have at 9?
I want to hear yours at 9 first.
I had Holtz at 9.
Okay,
Oh, I know, I do. I know you have at 9. I
so
had
number
Holtz.
9,
I'll explain first. All
yeah,
right,
go for
so
it.
I had Holtz at 9. So, uh, I really thought they were gonna go with Lundell here, just based on he's a Swedish centerman. He'd be like the perfect replacement for Mikko Koivu. He might be able to make an NHL impact as early as next season, but I feel like Minnesota needs scoring. Like I feel like Holt would be a great guy to put with Fiala. They got Kaprasov. I just feel like Holtz complements that well. And Lundell's he's not really a flashy player. He's just like a reliable second to third line center is what he's going to probably be. So I feel like Minnesota would rather have a potential scorer than like an average center. So who did you pick with number 9?
With all the rumors of Devon Dubnyk going to San Jose and the fact that he's already out of there, like regardless, I think Yaroslav Askarov will be a Minnesota Wild. I think he's going to be
Interesting.
taken. I think they honestly might have him as a roster player immediately. I doubt that because he's 18, 19 years old, not
Yeah,
even.
goalies never come in that young.
They're like, there's no way he's going to start. But I think they're going to take a few years with whatever goalie tandem they have, and then Askarov's going to come up and he's going to be the starter in Minnesota eventually.
I'm not gonna say I definitely can see that happening. It's just I feel like with Askarov, it's just such a huge unknown right now. Like
Yeah.
a team could trade up and like pick him at like 7 or 8 if Buffalo and New
Yeah.
Jersey is
Yeah.
willing to move their picks. I personally have them going a little later. We'll get to that when the pick comes, but I don't know if it like I could see like Nashville even at like 11 them trading their pick. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Askarov. And who do you have rounding out the top 10?
I don't know why. I just see Winnipeg taking like a pretty big reach here. I got them taking Caden Gould on defense. I don't even know
Why?
how you pronounce his
It's
last name.
Caden Gooley.
Gooley? Okay. Because Winnipeg's defense is the biggest shit show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Gooley and Schneider, it's going to be either one, in my opinion. I just feel like it's going to be Gooley. Again, their defense is just horrible. He would fill a hole eventually. He's gonna need time to develop. He's not gonna be a roster player
Mm-hmm.
immediately. But again, it's just a huge hole that I guess if you put Gooley there, it'll be a little band-aid on it. But
Personally, I don't think the Winnipeg Jets defense is that bad compared to what you're making it out to be. They got Morrissey, they got Pionk, they got Hiniola, they got Sami Niku. It's not like it's not great right now, but I feel like they don't have to take a defenseman. If you look at that second line center position on Winnipeg, I feel like that like they've never had that second line center that they've wanted for years. Like they went out and got Kevin Hayes a couple years ago. Brian Little, he's I don't think gonna play again. So with number 10, I feel like Winnipeg they take hometown boy Seth Jarvis.
Seth Jarvis, really.
Yeah. I actually have a stat somewhere, but Seth Jarvis did last season. Can't find it. But Seth Jarvis, I'm just gonna this might be wrong. So in the first, I think like 25 games in the season, he had like 25 points or something like that. And in the last like 30 or whatever it was, he had like 60 something points. So he really came into his own at the end of the season, and I feel like that confidence is gonna translate right over to the NHL when he gets there, and he's gonna be a pretty good center for Winnipeg. He's playing in his hometown too, so
That is a huge boost. Like
That
people don't
is.
realize that really does affect a player a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to the pick right outside the top 10, number 11. Who do you think goes here?
I think just with the fact that Duchene's not performing as expected, and then
Mm-hmm.
rumors of Turner's getting bought out or moved or whatever, I think they go with Anton Lundell at center.
Yeah, I can definitely see that too. Personally, I went with Jack Quinn. I feel like Nashville, like they got Forsberg, but like I feel like they can use offensive. Like they've struggled offensively the past few seasons. That's been their struggle. So I feel like you draft the best goal scorer in the draft and take Jack Quinn.
Jack Quinn is a good goal scorer,
He's
100%.
amazing. Yep. All right, moving on. Number 12. Who'd you have?
Um, this was honestly a toss up between two people, and the one that I didn't pick goes next. But they're the fact that Dodanov's like probably gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They also just got rid of Matheson. And I'm not really sure if they have anything like there to fix it. So I think they go with the next available defenseman is Braden Schneider.
Mm. I had them going Lundell. I feel like they could really use that like just steady player, steady second line center, and Anton Lundell. Like he's not flashy. He's like a great. I don't want to say role player, but like he plays his like role well. Like you know what you're gonna get out of Lundell. All right,
Right.
moving on to 13.
All right. This guy kind of fell on my draft board just because, not because he's bad or anything. And actually, I think he's going to be like one of the best players in the draft. I just don't think he fits the needs as much as these other players do for their respective teams.
Mm-hmm.
I got Cole Perfetti going to the
Wow,
Hurricanes, 13th overall.
I don't think he drops that far. I've heard he went like he's going in top fives for some people's mock drafts.
That's possible. I mean,
No,
again,
it
it's
is. It
based
did
on
no
like,
like it really could happen. Like this draft is completely wide open.
yep.
Like the top 15 besides like 1 and 2 is like completely unknown. So we have like a general idea, but like everything's just nothing's set. So and at 13, I had Askarov going. So with Askarov, I don't personally know exactly where he's gonna go. I just know he's not going past 13. So I just put him at 13. Because like if you think about it, like a team like Colorado, they could get in and take a guy like Askarov. Even a team like team can drop back too. So I don't know. I think like whether Askarov goes here or there, you really can't say because a team in the 20s could trade up. Like even I wouldn't surprised to see the Sharks trade up, take Askarov. Like you just never know. So with that, let's move on to the second last pick in our mock draft. Who do you got going 14?
You had this guy in the top 10. Honestly, I see him going all the way down to Edmonton 14, Seth Jarvis. I got Seth Jarvis going 14 to Edmonton because Seth Jarvis is exactly what Edmonton needs because they need a winger to play with McDavid and so because McDavid's already the guy that scores the goals.
Isn't
So you need
Jarvis a
someone.
center, or is he both?
I think he can do both, but yeah, no, he's been known to be like a playmaker, like a highlight reel playmaker. So I think straight up, he's just going to be the guy that they look to play with McDavid
I can see it.
consistently.
So at 14, I had them also taking not a winger. I had them taking a center, Dylan Holloway. Just that like third line center position on Edmonton. I just feel like it's like they don't really have anyone that's gonna step in there. So big centerman Dylan Holloway, he's strong on the puck. I don't know, he'd be a good fit there. I feel like. So moving on to the last pick in our mock draft, who do you have going to the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Just because I don't see this guy going out of the top 15 at all. I got Jack Quinn. Just because, I mean, Toronto
Imagine
Toronto doesn't really need Quinn, but to
no.
be fair, they don't really need a lot of guy. Like on paper, their team's really good. I sincerely don't know the problem with Toronto. Like I don't know why they're not winning. So I think at this point,
Their
if Quinn's
defense.
available, a sick goal scorer, yeah, Jack Quinn's the guy to go. Especially because, like you said, if there's defense, the problem, like the defense is so shallow this year. Like I don't even know what they would do.
Personally, at 15, I had them taking Schneider. I feel like it's a bit of a reach from where he was projected, but I don't know. He's a fit, and I feel like if you're the Leafs, like, what are you gonna get out of drafting a forward? Like, what are you gonna like? Why? Like, you already have a solid top six. Like, you need defense. I feel like they gotta take a defender. I feel like they take Schneider. So that wraps up our mock draft here, and we're gonna wrap this one up.
Do you agree with our mock drafts? If so, let us know down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Make sure to stay tuned for Chuckin Muffins daily uploads, and make sure to check out our previous podcasts.
Don't forget to click like, subscribe, hit the bell. Stay tuned for daily hockey content, and yeah, that's a wrap.